How is fault determined in a Tennessee car accident with minimum liability? When a car accident happens in Tennessee, determining who is at fault is a key part of the process. This is especially important when drivers have only the minimum liability insurance required by the state. Tennessee follows an at-fault system, meaning the driver responsible for the accident is financially liable for damages. This includes medical bills, vehicle repairs, and other losses. The journey to determine fault starts right at the accident scene. Police officers arrive and interview everyone involved, including drivers, passengers, and witnesses. They gather information and observe the scene, which helps them compile a police report. This report outlines their initial assessment of who may be at fault. However, keep in mind that this report is not the final word on fault. It is just one piece of evidence in the overall evaluation. Several factors come into play when establishing fault. First, police reports provide an official record of the incident. They include statements and observations that can clarify what happened. Second, photo and video evidence from the scene can visually show the circumstances and damage. Eyewitness testimony is also crucial, as it offers different perspectives on how the accident occurred. Traffic laws are reviewed to identify any violations. For instance, if a driver ran a red light or failed to yield, that could indicate fault. Medical records may also be used to document injuries and their severity, which can impact the assessment of fault. Other relevant evidence, such as vehicle damage patterns or traffic camera footage, can also be considered. Tennessee uses a modified comparative negligence rule, often referred to as the 50% rule. This means that fault can be shared between drivers. However, if a driver is found to be 50% or more at fault, they cannot recover damages from the other party. If a driver is less than 50% at fault, their compensation is reduced by their percentage of fault. Now, let's talk about minimum liability insurance in Tennessee. Drivers are required to carry at least $25,000 for injury or death per person, $50,000 total for injury or death per accident, and $15,000 for property damage per accident. If the at-fault driver has only this minimum coverage, their insurance will pay up to these limits for damages. If damages exceed these limits, the at-fault driver could be personally responsible for the remaining costs. In summary, determining fault in Tennessee car accidents involves a thorough review of evidence and the application of state comparative fault laws. Minimum liability insurance provides a baseline of financial responsibility, but it is the determination of fault that governs who pays for damages and how much compensation is awarded. This system encourages drivers to maintain sufficient insurance coverage and ensures that insurers carefully assess fault based on all available information.